All right, holy smokes! It's 3 o'clock on a Friday. Woo! It's the weekend, man. Deep into the weekend. It looks pretty good. The weather, we talked about that rain chances yesterday for the state of California. There's shower opportunities, but really right now, I think it's going to be rare to see any showers unless you're in the mountains, unless you're above 1,000 feet. The West Slope of Sierra Nevada, scattered showers, thunderstorms, possibly a thing, but right now, cool and windy for sure. The rain showers, I think you're going to get away with it. So we're going to talk about a little bit of everything today. We're going to talk about, obviously, the weekend rain and snow chances. It's going to be clearly cooler and breezy. We're already seeing breezy conditions out there this afternoon. I picked up that. Temperatures today are nice. They're a little cooler than yesterday. And then temperatures tomorrow are going to cool down significantly, a solid 10 degrees in some places. We are going to look at the swell, the surf, which has been kind of dwindling, but there's moments. But this wind is really going to play into how well the swell does. In other words, when it gets so windy offshore, sometimes it jacks up the swell. It jumbles it up, it makes surfing less great. And then the birds, we'll check out the birds who are getting some of this light showers down in that area, down in the Big Bear area. We'll look at some cameras as well that we haven't looked at before. And we'll start off with this visible map satellite image from the Goes West, which, and for my money, is the most valuable the most valuable weather tool you can have. When I started in weather, what was his name? Pat McCormick, Dialing for Dollars, Murphy and Muttley or whatever. He was a puppet guy. He was just everything. He was an entertainer. So he was 50s, 60s television, 70s television. He would look out the window because he was my predecessor. He wasn't a meteorologist. He didn't pretend to be. He just look out the window. Oh, looks like it's going to rain. He was that old guy. It was awesome. People loved him. But he looked out the window. So what we're doing, we're looking out the window of the Goes West satellite at 20,000. How many miles up is it? 20,000 miles? I think geostationary orbit is, I should know this too. I think it's at 20. It's up there. It's pretty high. So this is a couple snapshots and you can see a lot. So you're like, well, I guess, Bill, I can see some clouds and whatever. But no. What you see is incoming here. The speckled clouds represent cooler air moving over a relatively warmer ocean, which is weird because that ocean is not very warm. So that's how cold the air is. You're getting convection. You're getting air rising in, cooling and condensing. And you can see how they pop up and then they fall away. So it's pretty much unstable air, but it's kind of dry. Cold air doesn't hold a lot of water. So that's one of the things we're looking at as we go into this weekend. And one of the reasons we're looking at chances for rain lessened from over 3 or 4 days ago when there was expected to be a little more moisture in the area. So dry, a little bit of moisture here for sure. That's the front, if you can call it that. And there's some moisture with it. So we're going, okay, well, there's the system. So we just did a forecast. It's coming. It's going to be cooler. A slight chance of a shower tomorrow. That's without looking at models. Then we go, oh, well, there was fog along the coast this morning and all the way into San Diego. You guys were foggy this morning as well with big, deep intrusions, big, deep inversions. Well, why not now? Oh, because it's windy. The pressure gradient's increased. And so the fog is getting chewed up, not by an offshore wind, but by a northwest wind or southwest wind, or westerly wind that is chewing up the inversion and chewing up that fog bank. And so you're clear in Santa Cruz, you're clear at Point Conception, you're clear at Cape Mendocino, which is not that typical for this time of year. We're into May now. Okay, so that's the second thing we've seen. Third thing we're seeing is, oh, look at this. The flow is kind of mimicking out here. There's this orographic component on the west slope of the Sierra Nevada, up in the Trinity Alps, where the air is hitting the hill and being forced up further, cooling and creating cumulus clouds. Now, this is an indication too of not a very moist environment because the proliferation of these not really that aggressive, right? They're pretty. They're like Simpsons clouds. Remember the start of the Simpsons? That's what they look like. You'll see those live. But there are down by the Big Bear. We are seeing a couple of the eagles getting a few raindrops on them right now, or light drizzle. So that's something else we've seen. What else can we pick out from here? Oh, we can pick out Mount Shasta, and then the clouds blowing off the mountain. See how they kind of go that way? Mount Lassen here. We're going to go up there. And then the last thing is, oh, look, it's dry in Nevada because it's a rain shadow. And it's green in California because it's spring and it's hay fever time and you're noticing it. Yeah. So we got a lot out of that. So I love that image. It's on my links. You don't need to loop it. You can just pull it up every day. That's the first thing I look at every day is a visible satellite. All right, we're clicking along. Gale warning along the coast, mainly for tomorrow, along the entire coast, all the way up and down. Wind advisory in Marin County, wind advisory in San Mateo County along the coast, Salinas Valley, up in the Central Valley, my friends up in Redding and Chico, a really strong, breezy day tomorrow and then again on Sunday. So, okay, those are advisories. We can look at, I think we're going to, we can look at the surface map. These will tell us, I'm going to refresh it if I can. Let's see. Yeah, heck yeah, look at that. It should load up. Okay, so these are wind speeds, directions, and more. If you want to click on each one of these, you'll get a whole plethora of data. But these are surface observations. These are what we've always used in weather. And you can see the lines that this wind is blowing this way. See that line? See how those feathers off the back are like the feathers of an arrow, but they actually represent wind direction, which in this case, the winds are going towards the north and towards the east, but it's basically, we would call that a southwest wind. But that first line is 10 knots. The half line is 5 knots. The sustained winds are 15 knots as of the last hour. Gusting to 25. Gusting to 25. Gusting to 20. Gusting Livermore, in Livermore, almost 30 mile an hour on the gusts. So the winds are starting to pick up. Not seeing much in 22 miles an hour up in the mountains, but so things are starting to verify, and we haven't looked at a model yet. Now we look at a model. Circle California, there is the trough. See it right there? There it is. Okay, so that looks promising. I'm like, that's why the models were fired up. They're like, you bring in any moisture, and these dynamics, this upper air lift, this instability, will create showers. Right? It looks awesome. That's why it's going to be cooler. That's all the way. Once we get to Monday, it starts to warm up. But see that whole trophy area over us right through the weekend. Cooler and windy. So that's the upper air. This is surface to upper air moisture, precipitable water. So is there enough moisture to fuel a shower? And as we look into here we are tonight, tomorrow morning, in the time when that trough gets here, that's pretty dry. There's a little bit, but not much. So that long line, that's your best chance, and that's it. Saturday morning. This is why we're not calling for, the models are staying clear of showers. Look how dry it is. I mean browns and whites, man. That's really low humidity. That's because the air is cooler. And you see the trough go off and you see the atmosphere moisten again once that cool air moves off. So not a lot of moisture. Now we look at the GFS. Is this GFS? Yeah. And we're going to look for color, and that'll be our chances of rain. This is tomorrow morning. This is tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon. This is Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. I know. So the other thing we look at the dashed lines. That represents colder air. As the lines coming down from the north are colder, the dashed lines are colder. If you wanted, it's thickness, but this is a simpler way to look at it. Just look at those as, remember those ice cube clouds I showed you, those convective cells coming in. That's that air. And then these solid lines, those when they get real close together up Northern California, Southern California too, isobars representing pressure gradient. They get close, it's windy. And watch what they do. They get closer and closer and closer right through the weekend. And it's windy. So that's how you know. And you see the dash lines continue to fall. So that's the cold. So what do we know? We know it's going to be cold and windy, cooler and windy for this time of year. It's not going to be as cold as it would be if it was last month, because the days are longer, the sun angle's higher. We're about 2 months from the summer solstice. So even though it's going to be a significant cool down tomorrow and the next day as much as 10 to 15 degrees cooler than it was today, and yesterday, but yesterday specifically, it's going to warm up. We're going to still see on our coolest points Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures in the valley are going to be in the 60s, upper 60s, which is, that in a month ago, these would have been in the upper mid 50s. So here's the North American, same thing. Looking at it, railroad tracks, right? And then the dash lines are dropping. The NAM is very light on rain, except up around Northeast California, Northern California. This is Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. Right? So I hope you're finding where you live. And then there you go. And the common denominator are the isobars, solid lines, the dash lines, wind, cooler. These are the highs forecast for today. Today, Redding's 83. Tomorrow, Redding's 72. Today, San Francisco 62. Tomorrow, San Francisco's 59. Bakersfield 87 today. Tomorrow 75. So there's your 10 degrees. Los Angeles 69 down to 67. So only a couple of degrees. They're not as into the cold air as we are. And San Diego stays about the same mid 60s. So the forecast highs for tomorrow, they're there. And we still have some heat down in the desert southwest, which is expected, but that'll kind of wane as we go into Sunday as that trough moves in. And if you draw the jet stream in here, I would go, it'd be kind of like this, right? Something like that. So the trough is lingering over the top of us. Oversimplifying, but in the basics are correct. So here is the national map. No coffee today because it's like 4 o'clock, 3:30. This is the gale warning along the coast, which is kind of a big deal if you're a mariner or surfer or a fisherman. And then this area here, this is a clash of this warm or this cold air coming down from the north, and then this warmer, moist Gulf air coming from the south. And so the jet stream, we can guess the jet stream's kind of doing something like this. This bump, and then it drops down again, something like that. Broad brush. But that trough is the line between the cold and the warm, and at that line is where there's severe weather, and this will be severe. This has the potential to be extremely aggressive thunderstorms. Well, let's do this. I didn't plan on doing this, but let's see if I can do it. Let's see. Yeah, we can do it. Let's take a peek. Let's go to my radar scope. This is the pay to play. And then we'll go here, and you see the watches and warnings already up. Live radar, let's see, we'll go into this area and look at the radar. Yeah, that's going off. So put in the cities and down around, yeah. So those are significant. That's tornado watches, tornado warnings. Yeah, so really aggressive stuff. That's right now. So that's as of 3:32 this afternoon. So they're under the gun. Again, Texas just getting hammered. Then you go up to Huntsville, and you're seeing more. This whole line, again, that line, as I switch radars, I'll pop radars here. We'll go up to, I think this radar will come in. Let's see, maybe that one's not working. There we go. And you can see this line of showers as well. And those are up towards Huntsville and Birmingham. Yeah. Wow, so severe weather. So that's sort of what we were looking at here. That's those watches and warnings. So if you're traveling, Dallas might be it's a hub that I think will be impacted. This is the forecast highs for tomorrow. Check my time. I've had a heck of a morning. You don't want to hear about it. It wasn't bad, but I've had glitches on the camera, and then the Surfline site was a little bit glitchy, and it glitched my stuff because I have a lot of tabs open, and when those tabs get compromised, it kind of shuts everything down. So I actually spent a little time on this today. I do spend time on it every day, but this time is a little more time than normal. I took a break because I was becoming jaded. I was like, this sucks. You can imagine, right? I'm not even sure if I think this one will take. We'll hope. These are the forecast numbers, highs for today, and the shower. So Dallas will be 71, Memphis 65. And one of the things we can pick out, remember I said clash between the warm and the cold air? So 70 in Memphis, 54 in Chicago, 71 in Dallas, 64. So it's cooler air to the north, warmer, moist air to the south, and you get clash of air mass creating significant weather. Now we move on. We've done a lot of weather. We know what the weekend's going to be breezy and cooler, and you're probably not going to see a shower. There, I said it. You're not going to get that from your mobile app, by the way. You're going to get a chance of showers. That's just what they do. Meteorologists do this thing. They just always have. Maybe I do too. I hope I don't. But they kind of, if it's might rain, they go, oh, good chance, or chance of rain, which I think is, that's not fair. Yeah, there's a chance for rain kind of almost every day, I guess, if you think about it. Not really, but there could be. But it's like the job is to perspective and commit and go. Like when I look at that stuff, those 2 models, and I've been looking at them for like 3 or 4 days straight. They're in agreement, and I'm looking actually at the atmospherics and how dry the air mass is, and you can see it in the satellite image, and then you look at precipitable water. I go, I don't think it's going to rain. I think some places it'll rain up the mountains, but I don't think most of us, the majority of us, are going to remain dry. Okay, so here is the swell model from Surfline, which I love, and you can kind of see where the activity is down the southern hemisphere and up by us. And that next area, that south swell is dying down, and that area up here, this guy, that area is starting to light up a little bit with some more Aleutian storms. So we'll keep an eye on it. Right now, the surf looks like it's going to stay kind of on the small side. This is Santa Cruz Steamer Lane, and you see the winds blowing offshore. First thing you see is that fractured fog bank, and then you see the whitecaps. So it is blowing. You go up to 4 Mile or Waddell Creek or Año Nuevo. You've got, it's howling out there. And tomorrow, gale warning. So tomorrow it's going to be blowing 25, 35. So you're like, oh, whatever, it's clean in the cove, right? Well, it is. And it'll remain clean because the wind's blowing past it and over it offshore. But, oh, that's interesting. They're scratching for a set. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? It must be a pretty good, frothy little crowd, isn't it? The way they just scramble for that. That must be a little bit of south swell. It's breaking this on this point. See how it's coming, it's wrapping back in. Nice. That's a nice wave. See, that's the remnant south swell. And see how it came in from the south? That's sick. Tide's a little funky for this wave. But still, that was interesting. All these guys just peeled out and went that way. Good eye. Most of the swell's coming in here. But what I was going to say is the outside wind is going to chunk up the swell. It actually, even that like wave that came in, like even this one, it's going to be bumpier tomorrow and bumpier the next day and real segmented. So even though it's not windy right where you are, if the winds offshore are really jostling the swell around, then you're gonna get jostled waves, and you're seeing that here at Trussell's as well. There's a live camera shot. Trussell's still seeing south. They'll see south for a couple of days. But the wind's already jumbled it up down there. See how it's not as machine-like as it is when it's glassy? And if the wind blows offshore, you're money. But when the wind's onshore like this, it crumbles. See how it's breaking the wave early? And you're like, I mean, you could still surf it, but see how he's behind the whitewater? And it's okay, but it's not the Trussell's wave you would want to get. Mount Shasta, my friends. Beautiful, mystical place. Clouds are, cap cloud, right? Look at that. Oh, awesome this morning. These clouds, this is the altocumulus clouds. Moisture, kind of fair weather. I always call them fair weather cumulus clouds, representing some moisture in the atmosphere, representing colder air in the upper atmosphere. In this case, showing us where that south wind is, how that, because the winds are coming this way, right? We're kind of due west, if you will, of Mount Shasta. These are the winds kind of upsloping, right, orographically here. And that cap cloud you saw early on was formed because of a southerly wind, not a northwesterly wind, which is so often the case. So that's Mount Shasta. High temperature Mount Shasta City today is going to be 69. Temperature in Mount Shasta tomorrow is 64 degrees, so it's going to be cooler up there. Elevation and so forth. This is another volcano, southernmost volcano in the Cascade Range. This is Mount Lassen. This is my backyard where I grew up. Not really, but I was just over here in Paradise. Another canyon over Butte Creek Canyon. Kind of Butte Creek Canyon over. But as the crow flies from this spot, Colby Peak, I guess it was 10 miles, maybe, as the crow flies. But anyway, Mount Lassen, beautiful. More snow up here. You'll see that. And here you see the fair weather cumulus clouds. And you can also see the LCL, we used to call that, the lifted condensation level. So that flat line on the bottom, the flat line on the top shows you've hit the top of the troposphere where we live. The flat line on the bottom is the lifted condensation level. So that's the air being lifted, and it's all, there's moisture in here, but it hasn't cooled enough. When it gets to this elevation, that's the temperature, that's the dew point. And right there, that you can, you know, whatever that base is, that elevation is the LCL. Okay, nice. This guy's got a sick job, does he not? Wouldn't that be nice? Just to go, I know it sounds weird, but I would love that. Just to go and just get in my backhoe, move some rocks around, see some birds. Nobody's bugging me, right? Yeah, I know. My wife thinks it's crazy. I think that way. I'm a pretty simple guy. This is Bishop area. Bishop today will be in the upper 70s. Bishop's kind of here, this is the southern end of Bishop. White Mountains, I wanted to point out, first of all, you can kind of see the LCL here, flat. You got, these mountains are going high, like this is 11,000 feet, this Silver Peak. So we're at 11,000 feet and looking across at mountains that are above 13,000 feet. So they get a lot of snow in the west slope of the Sierra Nevada or in the southern part of the range. This is another shot of the same area, but further south, more down, kind of maybe 20 miles south. This is the Owens Valley, obviously, which is beautiful valley. And then you can see kind of the Mount Whitney area here and these mountains, how they're all, it's hard to tell the tallest one because they're all so tall, right? And up north, Mount Shasta sticks out like a sore, not like a sore thumb, but it sticks out. Why? Because, geez, it's in a plain. It's flat all pretty much around it. And then it goes up. It rises a solid 10,000 feet above the surrounding area. UC San Diego. Awesome school, and I just pay them respect for these cameras because they're UC San Diego live camera alert California cameras, which are invaluable for the CAL FIRE folks, invaluable for all of us for fires, right? Because you think about it, we still have lookout towers with people in them, but a lot of them we don't have to have as many because we don't have we have cameras all over the place. There's hundreds of these cameras. So check it out. It's on my links page. San Diego today is going to go 65, tomorrow 65. And I mentioned the birds getting a little wet. See this here? That's kind of virga, which is air that is rain. It's raining, but it's drying before it hits. It's raining. It's cool enough to rain up here, but it's probably drying out before it hits the ground. And it might be one of those, it might be a few drip drops. So the birds are here, and we'll see them live now because they're getting big, and I hope they didn't fly yet, because any day feel like they're going to fly any day. Let me update this, make sure I got it right. Kind of, they should be a little cloudier where they are right now. Let's see. Yeah, that's live. Okay. All right, that's cool. I don't know if I can get rid of that. I don't know. That's fun. Top chat. There's the birds. They're eating a lot. They definitely look like they're ready to be moving on, right? Which is sort of sad but exciting. They eat and they sleep. I mean, look at that. So beautiful. I turned my boys back from, my son works he's kind of an action film photographer, Bill Martin. Billy John, I guess is his handle, Instagram. He's good. Like, he's weirdly good. He worked for Jamie O'Brien for like 3 years. And he still does. They still do projects together. They just got back from Alaska. But he travels the world. He's 25 years old. He does really cool stuff. But I showed him yesterday. He's a surfer. And I just showed him this camera yesterday. And he's like, oh my God. He goes, that is unreal. Because it's addicting when you start to watch it, as you know. And I am addicted to it. At first, the way Baby Bird is laying, I was a little nervous because I was like, God, he looks not healthy. But then you can see him breathing pretty aggressively here. See him going up and down. I know, they're so awesome. I'm emotionally attached to them. When we lost that one baby, I think we all got a little bit traumatized. Okay, so we did it. I hope you have a good weekend. I think we're going to be in good shape. I think the weather's going to cooperate. The weekend, we're going to see rain, snow in very widely scattered areas. In the foothills, there might be something in the valley, but you're not going to see it. And then we get cooler and breezy. That's the thing I know. That's the thing I'm planning for. Everything else, just be hardy. Just be nimble. Have a jacket. Maybe have an umbrella. You guys having parties, outdoor plans? I think you do it. I think you just do it. And come as you will. But in terms of, is it going to go off? No. It's going to be hit and miss, so you're going to be fine. All right. Thanks for hanging in. We will be back here. I think I'll be back here tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna be more certain. I will be back here tomorrow.